Texas Instruments and supporting steps. Introduction. Texas Instruments is an American company located in Dallas, Texas. The company was founded in 1930 to provide seismographic data for the petroleum industry. However, years later the company transformed into an electronics firm because of the ongoing war efforts in World War II. In later years after the war, Texas Instruments began to appear in the market of producing semiconductors and integrated circuits, then soon after securing contracts for missiles such as the nuclear Minuteman missile, or in later years the HARM-88 and anti-nuclear missile. One of the company's most famous lines of products are their calculators, that have uses for finance, advanced graphing, and trigonometry for students and professionals alike. In 1997 the company started to consolidate divisions of its company to such as their defense and software positions, leaving TI with only two divisions: semiconductors and educational technology. This is only one challenge the company faces, as their profits are declining, causing a stock sell rating made by being behind in profits and revenue compared to competitors' inventory issues, market share loss, and the company's spending burden. Background. Relative to the Texas Instruments, the term information technology appeared in the mid-20th century when an influx of early office technology appeared. Before the concept of IT there were many relative technologies that have to do with information and technology, such as Morse code, the telegraph, the typewriter, the microphone, or even the radio. In the 20th century, with the concept of IT, there was the invention of the computer, newly invented programming languages, optical fiber, silicon chips, and also the CD. During this time Texas Instruments expanded into semiconductor development and production. A researcher named Jack Kilby, a researcher at TI, also co-invented the integrated circuit. While it was hard to maintain funding for the company to get into production, TI was able to secure a contract to develop an IC for the use of U.S. ballistic missile guidance systems. This was a time of frustration for the industry of IT, not only after a massive war but also the deadlock of U.S. and Russian tensions and the rise of the Cold War. In the 1960s TI was able to produce the first handheld calculator, which had only one integrated IC in it, which greatly reduced the manufacturing cost. The production of the calculator made TI a major consumer electronics firm. TI throughout its past also went on to produce radars for the Apollo space mission, DRAM, educational toys for children, and the company even introduced the first digital signal processor, which led to the development of their own biochemical DSP that helped portable devices detect bacteria or other pathogens in food and water in real time, including at remote locations. The company has consolidated since the 1997 when it sold its defense-related division, their software division, and its memory chip division. TI then acquired many smaller companies involved in DSP design and manufacturing. It then opened design and fabrication facilities in 1999 in China, Denmark, and Israel. Further consolidation occurred in 2006, when TI sold its sensors and controls division. This left the company with only two divisions, semiconductors, and their educational and calculator division. The company has faced a 13% year-over-year decrease to $4.08 billion, its net income dropped by 30%, earnings per share decreased by 30% year-over-year, and its free cash flow had a 77% decline from the previous year according to Guru Focus Research in an article published January 2024. Some opportunities however TI has been given are that of an expansion in the artificial intelligence market, new U.S. government funding, programs aimed at space exploration, and even new innovations in STEM. It is most likely that this trend in capital loss will occur in TI's market and range if it cannot meet the demand of consumers. The company will also need to evaluate the company's standing in research and development, which they undoubtedly funded over many years of the company's history. It is true that there will be a return from its R&D with the ability to stake different divisions such as artificial intelligence or that of space exploration, but it is also known that the current market is lacking products that would create an adjustment and surrounding in their current market share. Their calculators are still quite popular, but they have not expanded into any control measures seen in the direct U.S. market, such as that of scientific computing for facility management or other various control measures. Their product line entails some outdated products, some software, patents, and that of calculators in various forms for teaching science, accounting, and that of graphing. The quality of their products are also quality. However, it seems there is little, or no competition compared to that of cell phone applications or that of B-product lines from tech companies. It is the quite reality of TI that there is implementation of computing in control measurements on the side of arithmetic and nowhere else. It seems that this company doesn't seem to be accounting for any sort of changes in the market or future cautions. 5 Forces Analysis of Industry. The 5 forces developed by Michael Porter can correlate direct focus points a business can help to develop and strengthen it. Texas Instruments is an information technology company that has a market share that holds many systems together. Approximately, it is a well-known company that most likely every business and adult have either used a product from or heard of. The list of 5 forces does an approximate job understanding the level thinking and strategy that TI has in its vantage. There is the threat of new entrants to the market. Those who could compete with TI in its domain of a product line of calculators and some of their other products. This could occur with a virtual calculator, however this risk is low because of the lack of competition. One way to resist this problem would be to enter the field of developing applications, which it seems that TI is doing by creating programs for access points for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but it could also add to the educational meaning of the product with newer and more accomplished applications and uses of its products, such as a calculator for worksite or technical use beyond what has already been created. TI also faces the threat of substitution products or services, with the ability for companies to offer newer calculators on a phone application or just through additional products. This impact and risk is medium. The only thing that is resisting this change is business agreements, patents, and market cooperation where TI has manufacturing facilities located in other countries. TI could add additional products to their line, create focus groups to be aware of consumer wants and needs, or TI could possibly adopt a business strategy where product optimization or development is engaged like in its past history of securing contracts. Another forces factor is that of its supply power. This risk is high. TI has its own manufacturing facilities in a few countries and low probability of switching to another industry away from information technology. It also has a list of regulations such as established ethics, quality control, and even anti-trafficking awareness. This, however, is not frustration-free, as with many companies built within China operate with a lower established wage and a fixed proportional wage. Ways to widen their spectrum of suppliers would be to build on their ethical guidelines and control and create a strategic plan in the industry and that for different market shares and countries. The buying power of customers seems to be independent and dependent from industry to industry. This power through risk seems to be high. Seeing as their scope in education and workforce support for control measures in calculations is a forefront of the business, it has a greater appeal and need of consumers. Developing better technology that would be an expansion of their educational division would be an advantage to their market share. Consumers attest to educational product that have a frustration-free factor, which their product has not met the demand of. TI also doesn't seem to have a level of products that can attract prior consumers, such as testing for food and water management, which is quite concerning due to recent exposure to prison workforce relations in the food industry, and that of the fentanyl epidemic. TI should adjust to these market share in a range that would meet their bottom line, something that would adjust their ethics and control measures in a meaningful way, such as a focus on safety conditions or that of other information technology referendums, like rates and exchange for commerce and general mathematics. There is indeed rivalry in the business's market. There are costs to run Texas Instruments and corresponding barriers to run it. With the growth of many non-name brand businesses and products, TI may have a challenge in markets where the cost is too great to purchase their equipment. There is also the challenge of businesses with cleaner technology and industrial manufacturing competing with TI, which only has 2 divisions. It would be ideal for the business to keep its strategy and structure of control and quality development and adjust to its barriers of running such as price costs, product differentiation, switching costs, expansion, and that of exit barriers which the company has seen throughout its history. The Five Forces strategic leaves out a few important notes of TI's structure and development, which could impede the company's future management. TI could create a strategic methodology for its control measures, creating a template for other businesses and governments to follow, which would be considered a game changer. One such example would be to create an open-source development language for education and control purposes, which hasn't been seen in the industry. Another impact that Texas Instruments could have would be to pursue network development in the field of cryptography, which it seems to be lacking, which would improve communication flow in its current field of calculating devices. This would improve the technical application of its products, and legal use of resources that aren't being used currently. The Five Forces model provides an interesting way to look at Texas Instruments' future in the industry of information technology. TI's implementation of a guideline for likelihood of profitability is important, as many international companies, such as China, rely on a fixed economy, one that is based on a computation method that is built on the qualities of fabrication. Much of TI's market share depends on control, cost, and capital. It is illustrated in the Five Forces in their levels of risk, impact, and power. TI will most likely increase profitability if it follows those guidelines of the Five Forces, whereas that of risk is an adjustment-based quality in the business, following international laws, or anything related to supply issues. Or in the case of the impact of TI, it should be seen that TI should gain attraction from customers and build on that basis, weakening competitors with a fair advantage, working alongside their suppliers, and competing against substitute products. Another established measurement of the Five Forces would be to establish power by building an efficient, effective marketability, meaning that TI would need to work on management of production, conditions, and also quality of research and development. With each established improvement, Texas Instruments is lowering its risk, qualifying its decision-making and impact, and is also facilitating its power and control. Overall, Texas Instruments can make a good global competitor if it follows through with projected forecasts, builds durability, and creates a sustainable framework. Business strategy. There are corresponding illustrations a business can show to fight rivals, help raise funds, create a better product line, or lower their risk of collapse. Texas Instruments has different business-related strategies that justify their market share and continuous growth. The low-cost strategy is one where it seems that TI is lowering costs and reducing sale prices to maintain steady levels of profit while creating a larger market share. It seems that it has lowered the possibility of new entrants into the market by keeping its product within reach of consumers, and by keeping an ethical production cost line. Along with those ethical guidelines comes its bargaining power between supplier and buyers. At the cost, however, TI faces the threat of substitution products from applications and unknown companies as of the moment. Among the competitors that TI faces, Casio is one, and a list of information technology companies that look like startups that failed. As a differentiation strategy, TI has widened some of its supports for its products through applications that operate their technology. It has in the past widened its capabilities, secured contracts with other businesses, created newer colorized products, and worked on its ethics guidelines. As a focus strategy, the company uses a differentiation one. TI has succeeded, particularly in analog and embedded processing markets. Its analog chips are widely used in applications where precise and reliable signal processing is essential, according to site discussing TI's Five Forces. TI seems to have found a niche market, but it also seems that it doesn't seem to have control of these factors. This most likely occurs through their patented technologies, and sole market share of the calculator industry with zero to no competition. It seems there is no tangent market share that the company holds, such as technical and control measurement equipment to that compared of an educational calculator or one for adjustment accounting. Given the recent trends in the market, this business platform that TI holds is unsustainable. It seems that consumers want more out of TI's product line, and seems looking at the current market, that suppliers are willing to work with them accordingly. That may be up to the ethical dimensions of TI's structure, not following only a quantity on return methodology. It is important to note that Texas Instruments creates high-quality equipment compared to other companies that claim the same, and its rivalry is sustainable in the meantime, but this may not last forever. As with many differential strategies, some input control factors, output factors, focus strategies, and marketability are important to uphold in the long run, or the business will most likely suffer, as it did in 2023 with its significant market losses. It is also a reality that Texas Instruments needs to create a lasting impression on the common market, and it seems that developing a technical market share, a basic skill level is necessary for the success of this company, as which it continuously tries. Corporate strategy. Corporate strategy helps a business develop into different levels within the development of services and products. Texas Instruments foundationally has been a company with no market share other than for the petroleum industry. However, during World War II the company secured contracts and funding from the U.S. military to work on important equipment. The company adapted for its current use of radar equipment to find oil reserves and started making radar equipment for submarines and airplanes. This is an example of concentric diversification. After the war the company tapped the market concentration. They used their product lines for peaceful purposes, expanding market penetration and furthering development. The company rebranded itself from the original name Geophysical Service Inc. to Texas Instruments during this time. Over the years of the company's history, it has followed concentric and horizontal diversification. One may also consider producing rockets as a type of conglomerate diversification, however. These diversifications led to the company's backward vertical integration when TI decided to create its own manufacturing facilities. This was also international expansion on some levels, with access to new markets, reduced costs, and diversification of market risks. In 2012 TI decided to increase their market penetration in the industrial sector with their semiconductors, creating products to suit the needs of the industry with user-friendly tools, and customer support for such a focus. Looking at Texas Instruments' corporate strategy, it seems that the firm is stretching its potential vertical integration, diversification, expansion, and market share concentrations to the max, considering that there have been many shortfalls in market conditions or that of short supply due to market demands from wars, and lack of mediation and control of demand in the market. Even within focus testing, TI still hasn't been able to obtain an illustrated real-world market. The potential of its product line is meant for industrial equipment, even for calculators sold to young students. It seems that the company has not fully diversified, followed through with a concentration strategy, or even applied forward vertical integration. Applying and depending on the first steps of another company's output, or that of the government's decision, shows poor adjustment to market concerns, even though it says quite the opposite within its guidelines. TI should adjust to their market expectations, concerns, and overhead. Heading to a centric vision of the company that will do business on international grounds must be organized and show qualities of diversification. As the market illustrates a ratification of need, TI should follow those steps to meet a current market need based on ethics and concerns of the market. The company should also build on necessary technology to avoid trivial industrial to consumer equipment. Using a forward vertical integration approach as well as deepening backward vertical integration would help the company approach the needs of consumers. If the company were to approach the idea of information technology as a practiced consortium, their aim would be better suited for control measures. This has been quite relevant due to major illnesses, poor living standards, and the general misuse of electronic technology. Conclusion. With Texas Instruments' given history, the company could succeed, not only because of its brand name but also because it has secured a foundation for the information technology world. It seems that through the 5 forces, TI has a business strategy that needs work. If a company wanted to obtain a market share of the field, it may easily do so. However, at this point it doesn't look like TI has any threat of substitutive products except for online applications. As a leading business-level strategy, it seems that following through with its guidance of ethics will most likely be their key to success. Yes, a company may boom due to low-wage workers at a fraction of what an American worker would be paid, but it is part of the business dynamic and growth that TI needs to secure. Fundamentally, through differentiation and focus the company can meet demand, and may be considered a company stuck in the middle. Some may say that TI's mediation and control of data is too big to fail, but it has been proven in the last few years that this company can even take a hit. As a means to meet corporate-level strategy, TI needs to understand the wants and needs of the market correctly. This concentration strategy is often mistook for a level of thinking where R&D do not intersect, but it has been proven time and time again that the means for a successful means in a market share would be to adapt old world and new world technologies, and yet nothing has happened. Diversifying is a positive note for a business should follow. In this case it may attract investors and even help with the organization of the business. Following through to Texas Instruments' network of both forward and backward vertical integration, it may be in sight to improve that vision. There are new means to meet an existing market such as artificial intelligence, or that of phone applications, or even mathematics development. However, Gray, differential strategy is from integrating. It is possible that TI has a quality that can reciprocate into consumers' hands and control a market through quality adaptation. Following through to its user base is important. There have been many frustrations on the market already. If quality, adaptation, or that of adjustment meet demand, TI may have a basis for a successful return to the market and will have the ability to reclaim its market share. As of now, it seems that the company is fixed on resting actions and assistance form its form factor, and it is trying to make its means through accumulation of networking and industrial use.